New tariffs could raise prices of Ozempic, Wegovy. Imagine waking up to find your prescription costs have shot up overnight. This could soon be reality for millions of Americans. A sweeping trade agreement between the US and the European Union is set to trigger a hefty 15% tariff on nearly every European import imaginable. We're not just talking about luxurious Bordeaux wines and stylish German cars. Life-changing medications like Ozempic and Wegovy are also on the line. Here's the catch. Both Ozempic and Wegovy, produced by Denmark's Novo Nordisk, are household names for managing diabetes and aiding weight loss. Their popularity in the US is skyrocketing. Want proof? Novo Nordisk reports that around 200,000 Americans receive Wegovy prescriptions every single week. That's a staggering demand, especially considering Wegovy's FDA approval for treating obesity. But even before any tariff talk, affordability has been a sore spot. Without the cushion of health insurance, patients shell out roughly $500 each month for these injections. Sure, those fortunate enough to have insurance typically pay much less. Novo Nordisk claims 85% of their covered patients pay $25 or less monthly. Still, for many, even that is a stretch. But here's where it gets controversial. Once the new tariff kicks in, the cost of getting these drugs stateside will jump. But the question of who bears that extra cost is complicated and, frankly, debatable. Some experts, like Rena Conti from Boston University, say drug makers might simply hike their prices in response, passing the cost directly to uninsured consumers. And if you rely on insurance, there's a pretty good chance those costs just sneak into your premiums instead. It's not just Ozempic and Wegovy either. Iconic European-made medications like Botox, Viagra, and Keytruda, a breakthrough cancer therapy, are also on the tariff list. While rumors swirl, but some generic drugs might be spared, at the time of writing, the details are still murky. Novo Nordisk's response to this brewing storm is measured. They told Nexstar they're still devoted to improving patient access and affordability, promising to hunt for ways to ensure patients get the medicine they need. But how much can any single company shield patients from sweeping economic decisions? And this is the part most people miss. The rippling impact isn't just higher out-of-pocket costs. Every American, whether insured or not, could end up paying more, either at the pharmacy counter or quietly through insurance bills. Joe Busueles, chief economist for RSM US, sums it up bluntly. The cost of imported drugs is about to become more expensive for all Americans. Here's the big question. Should vital medicines really be part of tariff wars? Is it fair for patients to become collateral damage in international trade disputes? Or should governments find another way? Do you think price hikes are justified? Or should drug companies shoulder some of the burden? Sound off in the comments. Let's hear what you think. EU-US trade deal. Europe's humiliation, long-term consequences. A recent trade agreement between the European Union and the United States has sparked a wave of criticism across Europe, with many viewing it as a clear sign of defeat and subservience. This sentiment has only intensified since the deal was announced, featuring a smiling Donald Trump alongside a notably less enthusiastic Ursula von der Leyen. Initially, the imposition of a 15% tariff on EU goods was seen as a positive development for financial markets, providing a sense of relief. However, the promise of a new era of stability in transatlantic relations is beginning to feel increasingly unconvincing. For instance, the pharmaceutical sector remains under the threat of a US investigation, and there are mixed messages regarding the future of the 50% tariffs on steel, as highlighted by Bloomberg Economics. Moreover, there's a looming possibility that the Trump administration could return to the negotiating table, seeking further concessions if it perceives that the EU has not upheld its commitments, which include a staggering $750 billion investment in energy products. On top of that, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has expressed a desire to revisit complaints regarding the EU's regulations on technology companies like Meta Platforms Inc. But here's where it gets controversial. Many are questioning whether this deal truly serves the interests of Europe, or if it merely reflects a power imbalance in favor of the US. As we navigate these complex trade dynamics, it's essential to consider the long-term implications for both sides. What do you think? Is this agreement a necessary step towards cooperation, or does it signify a troubling trend of capitulation? Share your thoughts in the comments.